30. Devotional Thoughts for Women, written by Monica Diaz, read by Belinda Sainsbury. A pleasant good morning, dear friends. Today, August 27th, our devotional is entitled, Jesus Asks You, What Abounds in Your Heart? When we read, Thou shalt not kill, we should understand, Thou shalt not get angry. Robert K. McVlure. We tend to view God's law as commands that are meant to rule our external behavior. But Jesus explains that the law doesn't point to our works as much as to our emotions. It doesn't have as much to do with our external actions as with our internal being, with the convictions and intentions of the heart. That's what we need to work on. Therefore, Jesus urges us to keep the law in a deeper way than mere legalism. The key passage to understand this is Matthew 5. In verse 21 and 22, we read, You have heard that people were told in the past, Do not commit murder. Anyone who does will be brought to trial. But now I tell you, if you are angry with your brother, you will be brought to trial. According to Jesus, then, the external action of killing is a consequence of an internal feeling of anger harbored in our hearts. Thus, that internal feeling is what we need to work on, placing it in God's hands for Him to transform. The same thing happens with adultery. The second example Jesus gives in Matthew chapter 5 to look with loss in verse 28 at a person who is not your spouse is to commit adultery in your heart. Strictly speaking, adultery is a physical action, but Jesus helps us to see that the real problem lies in the emotional or intellectual motive from which the action arises. Since our actions emerge from the heart, Jesus invites us to reflect on what abounds in it. Are our convictions according to the principles of God's law? If not, our Christian life cannot be fully consistent with biblical Christianity. We cannot change if we don't realize our need to do so. Hence, the importance of Jesus' words. He is the one who helps us to understand major weighty matters, such as our tendency to live a merely formal religion, like the scribes and the Pharisees did. They claimed they loved God and kept His law well, but they became angry at the Son of God with each step He took and every word He said. As a result of that anger, which turned into hatred, they persecuted Him until they succeeded in seeing Him on a cross. Their external experience of the law was inconsistent with the essence of the law. Let us not make the same mistake. Unless your righteousness exceeds the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, you will by no means enter the kingdom of heaven. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 20.